a lot. A lot of creators are either selling other people's stuff or they're getting paid from the brand or the platform itself, and that's absolutely a way to go about making money. It's fantastic, right? If it ends up with money in your account, then great. But what if you also want to sell your own stuff? What if maybe that's something that interests you, you can see something that you might want to solve that doesn't quite exist yet, and you want to have that come from what you know and what you can offer directly? And that's kind of where it got my brain thinking about, well, there's this saying that the average millionaire has 7 streams of income. So if you're somebody that's creating content and you have an audience and you're making money from brand deals and you're getting paid from the platform directly, well, why wouldn't you want to also sell your own stuff and kind of increase the ways that you can actually monetize your brand and the thing that you're developing or you want to develop? And some of the pain points over the years, as we've gotten to know a lot of creators, is that they don't create the right things to sell for their audience. You know, they just kind of hear, oh, I'll have a Substack, or I'll have a Patreon, or I'll just kind of like do something that I heard somebody else is doing, and I'm just going to do that, right? So they're not creating like the right things for their audience, and they also sometimes haven't even built up enough brand equity for them to sell yet. You know, if you're somebody that doesn't have a lot of attention right now, your focus has got to be on the content side, not so much on trying to sell somebody something yet. You don't have enough attention. And the last thing is, at the end of the day, it's kind of awkward to sell to your audience, especially if you're not used to doing that. You know, and you're not used to selling to them, and your audience isn't used to being sold to. So if you're just a try and shoot content creator, I mean, this is something that if you try and sell something, you might get a bunch of hate comments and people being like, oh, why you gotta, you know, keep this behind a paywall or whatever they say. So, you know, those are just some of the things that over the years as we've gotten to know creators, we've kind of noticed. But thankfully, our focus, for all of you guys here in this room, is creating our own stuff to sell. That's what we've done over the past several years, is figuring out that side of the game, not so much in the traditional ways that we mentioned earlier about how content creators are getting paid. So that's kind of what we're going to talk about today. Oops. Before we talk about that, just to give you guys a rough idea of kind of who we are as business owners. So like I said, in 2022, we crossed $1 million in revenue. This is the general breakdown. $1.1 million, just over that. Selling other people's stuff, about $78,300 or so. Direct from platform payouts, about $33K. Over $1 million worth of revenue from selling our own stuff. Like, this to us has been the bread and butter of everything that we do. We haven't, you know, found the same success in the brand deals and all that stuff, but we bring value to the table. We help solve people's problems, and that's what we're going to be talking about with you guys here today. Is one, creating your customer avatar. That's going to help you guys figure out who it is that you're trying to sell to, and then also how your content can help attract that person. Second, we're going to talk about our classic know, like, trust process, which is the bona fide way that we've been able to generate millions of dollars worth of revenue by selling our own stuff, because people know us, they like us, and most of all, they trust us. And then lastly, integrating content creation and business ownership. Because as content creators, we may want to do one thing. As business owners, we kind of have to have our eyes and mind set on other things, but how can we integrate those two and have it be not only something that we can do effortlessly and it's integrated into our brand, so it's not weird and, you know, awkward for us to sell, and it's not weird for our audience to kind of know that we're business owners. Like, how does that all work? How does that come together? Now I'm going to give you over to, So pretty much who's this for? If you're a content creator that you already have an audience, but you don't know what or how to sell to your audience, then you're going to take away, and I presume most people in this room are this. I mean, for anybody that's more of that tried and true business owner, show your hand, but I'm just kind of assuming that most people here are content creators that are either already doing it or they want to start doing it. So at the end of the day, if you are a business owner and you have something to sell already, but you aren't sure how to use organic content to do that, then you may walk away with something as well. And now here's my brother.
Beautiful. So the first thing we're going to talk about is your client avatar. And so when thinking about your client avatar, this is essentially the people that are going to buy your stuff. So some questions to think about is like, what problems do they have? What is the type of person that are going to have those types of problems? And then how can you ideally reach that person through your content? And so when you look at us, you know, what our avatar is, we actually have 2 primary avatars. We have a personal consumer, day-to-day person, trying to, you know, maybe just build their credit, get the best credit cards, leverage their credit to do cool things. And then we have another avatar which is completely different, which is the business owner. And so the business owner is, not going to be as concerned about necessarily building their credit, but they're trying to get funding for their business or trying to get access to capital to build and scale. And so by identifying what type of person is going to buy each product and service, we're able to direct the content to that specific person through our content styles. So you might ask, what comes first, the actual client avatar or the thing you're selling? And so the beauty is there's no perfect solution. You could either create the content, become that content creator that has a following, build that brand equity, and then really start to identify the problems within your audience. And one of the best ways to do that is looking at the comment section. No one looks at the comments, but people ask questions. You start to identify those questions in the comments. You start, ta-da, people want this solution to my problem. The other side is, maybe you already have a problem. Maybe you already, as a business owner, maybe you already have a solution or product, and you already have that avatar, but you just want to figure out how to create content to talk to those specific people. And so the beauty is, you don't need to do it one way or the other. No matter where you are, you can have a solution. And so, big question is, I don't know what to sell, or how to sell. And so, this is probably our two favorite books. Alex Hormozi, he's an absolute beast. If you do not have the $100 Million Offers book, or if you have, and you've read it once, I'd probably go back and read it 3 more times, because he's helped us really create an offer in every one of our different products that is absolutely insane, and it's an absolute no-brainer for every single person to work with us for those solutions. And then really, just feel like an artist. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. Look at what other people did, especially for the business owners that's like, oh, I don't know what content to create. Go on TikTok, look at what videos already did well, go, hey, can I recreate that in my own way, and then make that video. And so a couple things to ask yourself is like, especially we're here at FinCon, is A, can I help people save money? Or B, can I help people make money? And so here's a photo of us in our studio. And so really it's like your content is going to bring awareness to everyone that you yourself exist, right? This is how they know you. And then the avatar based off the product, right? We started getting DMs from our content that we started creating in 2020 because we started noticing that people needed help building and fixing their credit. And so we're like, wow, we're getting hundreds of DMs. We should probably create a service to answer those people. And that's what we did. We created a service around that. And so that avatar is a specific person that we attract through our content. And so now that you have an idea of that, right? This is our bread and butter, the know, like, trust system, right? This is, a lot of people don't use this, and a lot of people have never even heard of this. This is our favorite thing. And so, I don't know how many of you guys have heard about the Nelk Boys. They're probably one of the largest in the pranking niche. They have like 7 million followers or 8 million followers on YouTube, another 4 or 5 million on Instagram. Super hilarious videos, and they started off building a really dedicated audience. So really having like people that knew them, really liked them because they're super funny, and then over time you start to build that trust because you're like, oh, I love these guys, like Swifties, right? Any Taylor Swift fans will just buy anything she ever puts out because they know, like, and trust her. And so the Nelk Boys are a really, really good example of someone that created a strong, powerful brand by making content first. They had no products. They were making money from YouTube. And so people got to know, like, and trust them. And then, because of the content, they actually do real pranks, crazy pranks too. A lot of their videos were getting demonetized, so they weren't making any money. And so they were like, hey, we have this massive audience, let's do a merch drop. To put it in perspective, on their first merch drop in the year of 2020, they made $50 million. And they sell out within minutes. Now they've created a second brand, which is their full stem brand, so they have a supplement brand that's worth about $70 million. And then in 2021, they came out with the Happy Dad seltzer brand, and that's worth $250 million. And so, what to take away from this is viral content typically gets people to know and like you because it has the broadest reach. And so here's some viral content that we've made. We did a video on how to get unlimited snacks on airlines. JetBlue, shout out. We did a video on Centurion cars, like the black cars that celebrities have. 3 million views. I did a video on a 17-year-old kid that got banned from an airline because he used a website called Skyscanner incorrectly. Almost 10 million views. All 3 of those videos made us no money. But we got, 18 million eyeballs on our profile. On the flip side, we have educational content. We call these mini courses. And the beauty of this is you see the views, they're very disheartening. I mean, we got lucky with 700K there. But in this video, this was a mini course. This is how to get an Apple credit card, what everyone wants, or a lot of people want, with no impact to your credit. And I didn't leave anything out. I gave them everything, step by step, to execute on that. The next one, I talked about credit cards that everyone should have. The next one, I talk about a rule to get credit limit increases on Chase that have no impact that anyone can do, and then people are double or tripling their credit limits. And so the beauty of this stuff is they're going to get way less views, but this builds massive trust because everything that we do, you can see the comments, people could go do that today. They could see the video, they could call the bank, they could apply for that card, execute it, and it worked just like the video they saw. Now they go, dang, that worked just, because a lot of people on social media, they just tell you the top stuff. And so we give it all away, 100%. We want to build that massive trust with our audience, so when we have something to sell, they've already had 10 things that worked exactly like the video said it did. So, simple question, how do people get to know you? Through your content. And how do people get to like you? Through your content. And how do people start to trust you? Through your content. What happens when people know, like, and trust you? Well, they buy your stuff. We get DMs like this all the time from all of our products, all of our things, services, things like that, all the time. We do not have a lot of objections or things, people don't really have to, I don't know about this because they've already been following us, they like us as people, they see our videos that are free, work for them, so guess what, they want to go, what is this offer, what is that offer? And the best part of this whole thing is it happens naturally over time. So you be creating content, business owner, whatever it may be, over time, this is just going to naturally expand and compound. And so one of my favorite things, this is especially for the content creators in here, or especially you guys, is because you guys just give. But you never ask. And so Gary Vee has a book, Jab, Jab, Right Hook. Give, and then ask. And that's okay to ask. As long as you're giving value, right? You put out a viral video, get that attraction, and then give them some stuff that people can actually execute and do today. It's okay to ask. So quick recap, we have customer avatar or client avatar, right? This is the ideal person who is going to buy your stuff. This is where you're going to figure out the problems that your specific audience has, and then you're going to solve that problem. There's a lot of ways, a product or a service, right? It doesn't have to be this crazy one-on-one mentorship type thing. It can be an ebook. It can be a guide. It could be a video course, like identifying that problem and then just simply solving the problem that people are already telling you they have. And then using that know, like, trust, right? Understanding that your brand is a superpower. If you have millions of followers, you already have a massive footprint in the world of content and brand. So that's just going to be naturally created, that know, like, trust. And anything you do and sell is just going to be supercharged because you've already spent the time to put out thousands of videos and create millions and millions and millions of views.
Yeah, it's me. Yeah. Yeah, I don't need the mic. Okay. All right, so content and business, right? So we've already kind of established some of the things that my brother just went over there. So now finally, kind of how do you start to integrate the two? Because at the end of the day, if you want to sell and make content, you have to be doing both, but not all the times that happens simultaneously. So if you don't know who this guy is, this is a great example of why people don't value free stuff. He's literally walking around New York trying to give out a 14K gold bar to people, and they will not take it. He's like, hey, do you want this gold? And they're like, no. Or they won't even give him the light of day. It's several thousands of dollars worth of value, and he's trying to just give it to somebody, and they're like, I don't care. I don't care about that. So what does that say about us? That says that we don't value free stuff. It's just innate to us that we value things that have a cost, whether that's a monetary cost, whether that's a time input cost. You know, whatever it is, if we just are given something, we're probably not going to value it that much. So, because of that, we have to sell things to people. Because if we don't, they might not take the action that we want them to take, which will be better for them if they take it. You know? And what's kind of interesting is that if you think about the audience, right? I said that we have almost 1 million followers across all of our platforms, but most of our audience doesn't buy our stuff, and most of them won't buy your stuff either. If you have 1 million followers, you're probably not going to have 1 million customers. You're probably not even going to have 100,000 customers. It's going to be a small percent of your audience that will ever buy your stuff. That's okay. It's perfectly fine. So that's why we have content creation in business. The business side to us wants everybody to buy our stuff. The content creator in us wants everybody to view our videos and enjoy them and take something out of it and have their day get a little bit better and share it with people and like all the fun stuff, right? So kind of here's an example of what those two might look like in practice. So we have what my brother said earlier about his American Airlines, you know, somebody getting banned, like super viral. It's just purely for content. And you can see the kind of the reach and the views, and it all went really well. And then here's a post that we've made for business, where it's like, oh, how to get an 800 credit score. It's a call to action where we're wanting people to actually comment the word blueprint, which then triggers some automations, which I'll get into here in a sec. So just because you're a content creator doesn't mean you have to only do the left side. You can actually do stuff on the right side too. And here's some more examples of what that looks like. So CTA videos, that's call to action. That's saying, hey, do this thing, and you say that or you have it on screen during the video, right? We'll post that as an Instagram reel. We'll also put that on our story as well. Now the thing is that we're actually namely just using Instagram. TikTok is probably the worst place you could try and sell. So we don't recommend doing that. Your videos are just going to tank, and no one actually takes like any action to like comment those keywords, and there's not automations that you can kind of integrate with TikTok yet. So all this is on Instagram specifically. Really, we're using TikTok as the top of kind of funnel to get people into our Instagram, which does carry over a lot of the same content, but we're able to engage with our audience in a lot more specialty ways when we're using Instagram because of things like stories. You know, I know TikTok has stories, but I don't know about you, but going on TikTok stories isn't really like what I do on a day-to-day, and I don't think most people do. But you go on Instagram almost all the time, and stories are pretty integrated into how you use that platform. So we're going to post stories that say, hey, click this button. Once you get over, I think it's 10,000 followers, you get the ability to actually do this link that you see here, the Let's Get You Funding. That's a link that people can click on that brings them right to whatever thing that is. You don't get access to that, I think, until around 10,000 followers. But once you do, you can post stories like that. And then here's another one, teaser stories. So if you have private content, something that's behind a paywall, you can share some of what that looks like to your audience. So you can see here that we kind of like grayed out a bunch of information, but you can see the top part, never pay for airline Wi-Fi again. So people know, okay, wait, there's just some sort of guide about how you can not have to pay for Wi-Fi in an airplane. Okay, how does this work? And then there's kind of a bunch of stuff crossed out, so you can just tell, like, okay, there's something here, but I can't see it. And then we have a call to action there where it's like, hey, you can get on the wait list for products that are inner circle. So, that's another thing, is you can tease something that's behind a paywall for you. And then if you have testimonials, definitely utilize those. If you have somebody that's joined your program or has bought your thing, and if you're able to get a video of them, which is like pulling teeth, but you can do it if you ask them enough and you're up their ass enough, you can get videos like this where you can literally just post whatever they said and then another call to action or something like that. So here's some tools that you can use to actually make this whole thing easier. because we're not sitting in our comment section literally replying to people that comment Blueprint, with links to stuff and all this. So instead, we're using a thing called MiniChat, which integrates with both Facebook and Instagram as a way for it to help automate certain things. So for example, keywords that are commented on posts. You can set it to where if Blueprint is commented on an Instagram post or a Facebook post, it will automatically send a message back to them. It could even like and react to the comment, reply to the comment automatically, and then simultaneously send them a direct message with a link to the thing. Is at the end of the day, they engaged with you. So that's why this is okay. You can't go and solicit it from people, if they don't give you the permission, but if they comment on your post, that's them wanting more information. So MiniChat's a fantastic tool that you can use to help automate some of that. And then high level, that's our CRM, our customer relationship management tool. So basically anybody that interacts with our content and opts in, meaning they click to learn more and they give us their first name and their email address, maybe their phone number, then we can actually have them stored inside of our CRM, which we use high level. That would store their name, their email, anything they gave us, so that way we can effectively market to them later on or right away. So for example, if they opt in to get like a guide on something, then by intaking that information into our CRM, it can then automatically email them the thing that they want. It makes it pretty simple, so you don't have to like manually check a Google spreadsheet or something and then like send people stuff manually. And then finally, Zapier is a great tool if you're looking to automate pretty much any type of software that doesn't normally talk to each other. So for example, say somebody comments on a post and they want to learn more information about something, and then they opt in. So then now they're kind of plugged into your CRM. And in 3 days, you want somebody to get something in their inbox that they didn't get today. So you want it to kind of be like a sequence where they get something today, and then in 3 days they get something else. You can use a tool like Zapier to actually add time delays to things that you're sending. And pretty much integrate all sorts of software that, again, doesn't normally talk to each other. So in general, right, kind of a few things to mention while you're actually selling through your content is that, one, if your audience isn't used to selling, then there's going to be a learning curve, not only for you, but also for them. Disregard anybody that says, oh, why you should be giving this away for free, blah, blah, blah. Don't listen to those guys. They're going to come around. Some of them will probably end up buying your stuff to begin with, but for you, it'll get kind of natural as well. And then also, not everything you try and sell is going to work. Just like every single piece of content you make doesn't go viral. You think that we just like hit it out of the park in the very first time and then everything thereafter is just like bang, $1 million, $10 million. No. We have tried and failed so much. We've tried to launch products and it's just completely flatlined. Like literally, we thought we were going to make all this money, it was going to be so successful, and then like 2 people buy it. And we're like, cool, that's great. So not everything you do is going to work, but that's the business part of doing business. That's the fun part. That's where you get to be creative in your business, just like you're creative with your content. And then also, this one really hits home. Do not price your stuff too cheap. You are valuable. If you are creating content that millions of people view, and even if millions of people are not viewing it, you have something to offer them that is probably pretty freaking awesome. And I see this so many times, time and time again, is people price their stuff too cheap. And the problem with this is it's not a race to the bottom. We're not a commodity here. We are here to offer something unique that has value, and it should be priced accordingly. And also the thing is if you price it really cheap, then it's hard to go up. You can come down a lot easier than you can go back up. So definitely do not price your stuff too cheap, and then simultaneously don't overcommit to what you're going to provide. I see a lot of people that will price something super cheap, and it'll be a live component to it. Every week you're going to get on this big group call with me, and I'm going to talk about X, Y, or Z, for example. That's that's totally fine to do, but you can't offer stuff like that at too cheap of a value because now you're not valuing your time, and it's also a big deliverable that you have to maintain in order to keep getting that monthly reoccurring revenue that you're probably getting in that type of structure. So if you're going to offer a live component, charge a lot of money. Seriously. Something that's worked for us, and I want to see more people do it. So the thing is that when everything comes together, when everything comes together, meaning you have your client avatar, which also helps you figure out not only what their problem is and how you're going to help them, but also the content that you're creating is now helping attract that person that was that's probably going to buy your stuff. You're also building that brand equity naturally over time through the know, like, trust process. And then you're utilizing some of these software tools. You have a CRM. You're starting to integrate ways that you can promote and sell something that you have to offer to your audience. You can start to do some pretty cool things. So here's a small case study of this. So we call this the waitlist method. Did not coin this term. You've probably heard of it. It's not unique. Do not reinvent the freaking wheel here, guys. The waitlist method is simple. All you do is you start building attention towards something that people cannot access right away, whether they can't access it for a week, a month, whatever it is, right? You can get people to join a waitlist to start building the amount of people that might be interested in something that's not even released yet. So for us, we started posting call to action reels and stories on Instagram that had a link that they could click to join our Inner Circle waitlist. This was a digital membership where they get access to, a bunch of stuff that we've made, blah, 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 all this stuff. I'm not going to get into it. But anyways, they clicked that link, brought them to a page, they gave us their information, now they're on a waitlist. We did this for about 3 to 4 weeks, and you can see 41 link clicks on that post. Okay, 41 link clicks is not a lot, but you do that every single day for 3 weeks, and you can get to, we had 927 people on the waitlist, right? Incremental. We're not looking for thousands of people to join on one post, just, slowly, slowly, over time. So as you're building this waitlist, you're building the anticipation. Oh, my brother's funny, huh? So you're building the anticipation, you're promoting this thing, and then finally, you can actually release the product or the thing that you're offering to people, and the results can be pretty freaking cool. We did $127,000 in less than an hour by doing this waitlist method to build up anticipation for something, and then we said, hey, you can buy it right now. You can't buy it tomorrow. And then that applied scarcity, that applied a reason for people that, again, were on that waitlist that already expressed interest, that, hey, I can't join this thing next week. If I'm serious about this, I want to join this thing right now. And guess what? This is your only opportunity to do that. I'm not going to be able to play that video, but that's just a funny one. That was just a Slack channel that I had that was, anyways. Oh, look, it actually will. Yay! Okay, so that's my Meowdy coffee cup. And this is our team. Just normal. We're just kind of chilling while making sure everything goes smooth. But I just thought that was cool. But anyways, so final recap of everything that we're kind of going over here is that your customer avatar, what problems does the audience have, and what content would ideally attract that avatar. It's simple. It's very simple. What can you create that's going to bring attention and awareness to the person that probably has a problem that you can solve? That's it. Know, like, trust happens naturally over time, makes selling way easier. So then that way people aren't trying to figure out if what you're going to deliver to them is going to be worth the price. They already believe in you. They believe hard enough in that you are the person, the creator, the thing that you are trying to sell them is going to be the solution to their problem. They don't have that friction when it comes to the checkout page. And then lastly, integrating content and business is you can blend creating valuable content, viral content, stuff that you just think is cool, whatever it is that makes you and your brand, you can do that, and then also you can sell through your content as well. Different outcomes that you're looking for, but you can do both of them. And then finally, you got to sell to get people to care. If you don't sell, they don't value it. So as content creators, we deliver value to those who interact with our content. That's our goal. And then as business owners, we help people solve their problems through what we sell. That's it. And then lastly, I don't think this presentation would be complete for those that know me without a little something like this, and that's we suffer more often in imagination than in reality. And this is Seneca that said this. So my point in bringing this up is that if you're thinking about entering into something that's unknown or uncomfortable or fearful, it's your mind that's going to convince you why you should not take the action that you need to take. So for us, we really had some barriers when we first got this whole thing going, and thankfully through our friend group, we were able to break past and stop thinking and just start doing. Just start. So if you scan that, it brings you to our Instagram. If you really want the slides, you can message us. But figured we wanted to open the floor now for a little bit of Q&A. I really don't know how much time we actually have. I know we got started a little late here, but we're here to answer any questions you guys may have, whether it's about content, business, whatever it is. So, yes?
So when you first started, how much were
No, it's a great question. So when we first started, we posted 60 days straight on Instagram. Those were not videos. Then once we started on TikTok, we were pretty inconsistent. We were posting a video like maybe once every week. So like not what you're supposed to do. But after several months, we actually changed to posting every single day on TikTok. And then on Instagram as well, because once Instagram Reels came out, we were able to syndicate the content. So we started making the videos, and that's the thing, is the process of the content creation is what we had to get down, is like how can we actually create the videos? Once we got that, we figured out what works for us, and then we got to post every single day. And we've been, I think about 2 years, right? I think like 2 years at this point straight of posting every single day. So TikTok, Instagram, YouTube Shorts, Facebook Reels.
The easiest thing for this is take one video and repost it. Don't make a specific video for each platform.
And then what's your call to action then if you're on all these different platforms? Are they different for each platform?
No, I mentioned it during the presentation, but Instagram is the best place to actually sell. So we don't use call to actions anywhere else besides Instagram. And in the videos themselves, I want to draw a difference between, say, our stories and our videos. Our videos almost never have CTAs as far as what we consider like our content side of the business. Like when we're sitting down really trying to like have a professional camera and like that's just what we use. Like that's all actual content. What I showed an example of is like my brother just like grabbing his phone and doing like a selfie green screen. And that's like not a part of our daily posting, if you will, because we don't do that every single day. That's just when we're trying to, have a call to action video or story. So that's the difference between the two, is every day we're posting valuable actual content, but then we will also mix in on top of that these stories with CTAs or these other Instagram Reels with their own call to actions and things like that. So that's on top of it.
A CTA, though, you could have like on other platforms is make sure you hit the follow button. Now they're following you, they have a greater chance at seeing your content again. Brown shirt. Yeah.
Hi. Two questions for you. You talked a lot about you have a big following on TikTok, but you're selling the majority of your Instagram.
Great question.
How do you make that, like, I don't have a TikTok, I only have Instagram, but how do you get the transition for all the eyeballs who want TikTok to Instagram first? And then the other thing I wanted to ask you, at what point did you decide was the right time to trigger your first product, and what was that product for you?
Okay, cool. Great question there. So, unfortunately, there's no perfect way to do this. I think the easiest way for everyone is once they get link in bio features for TikTok, is just simply put your Instagram profile in there in the link in bio. You have like a little icon, but most people aren't going to click that. If you just say like, follow me on Instagram, click below, or like follow me on Instagram for more content, then you're going to try to hit them at both places. And so when people view your profile, there's a better chance that they cycle over to Instagram. There's no, yeah, you can simply literally, in your LinkedIn bio, you can literally put your Instagram profile.
Which a lot of people will use beacons or a link tree or something like that, which is what we use on Instagram. But when it comes to TikTok, and we do mess around, sometimes we use a link tree, sometimes we have a specific thing we're trying to direct people to. But yeah, since TikTok offers the biggest reach, we want to drive people towards the thing that we feel is the most important at that time. So
and that's what we did originally, is we literally only had our Instagram bio. And so in the comments and stuff, we were telling people like, yeah, send us a DM on Instagram. And so they had to go to our bio and then figure out where our Instagram was to send us a DM there.
Yeah, I sort of see them as like two competitors of each other.
So you can put your link there, but you don't want to say in your video like, hey, send me a video or send me a DM on Instagram if you want more information, because that will trigger like the video to get just pushed under. And then the second question was, when did we create our first product?
Like at what point in your business were you at and you decided that we're going to trigger this to start selling our first thing, and what was your
So just before you answer that, so I love this question because we kind of showcased it earlier about like, well, what comes first, the client avatar or the problem that you're trying to solve, like the thing that you're selling or the person you're selling to. So we just started making content. that was it. Like, we didn't have a product or anything at that point, and then it wasn't until we gained some traction and some virality, thankfully, and we had a little bit of a following. That's when we started to actually create things to sell, and then I'll let you talk about our first product.
So that book, Steal Like an Artist, guess what? Well, a couple years now, there's a ton of people on credit copying everybody on TikTok, but 3 years ago there was us and one other person. So I was like, well, that person's having success. Let's see what's making them have success.
Nice.
I started to see videos that they did that already hit millions, and I was like, well, yeah, I can make a video on that too. And guess what? It worked for us.
And it was on repair, right?
It was on basically why people shouldn't pay their collections, and that's a controversial topic. A lot of people have collections. Millions of people have collections. And so guess what? In the comment section, people were like, what? What should I do instead? People started sending us DMs on Instagram, hundreds of DMs, going, hey, can you help me fix my credit? I have collections. Can you help me? Can you help me? And then there's a saying, right? People say, you got lucky. I consider luck when opportunity meets preparation. Opportunity was hundreds of people were saying, can you help me fix my credit? The preparation was we were prepared to create that service right then and there and capture that opportunity. So that was our first service, was credit repair.
I'm Morten. I run Dividend Club, and I want to hear more about your wait list. First of all, you didn't touch on a price point, so I would be curious to hear at what price point a wait list works. But also, it doesn't seem like you use phone calls to close. So, like, if you can talk about that, why and why not?
Yeah, so again, $100 million offers. Read it. Have you read it?
No.
Read it, because creating a grand slam offer, something that's so good that it actually makes more sense. Like, doesn't make sense why someone wouldn't buy it. Part of that in creating the offer is scarcity. And so scarcity is a big, big thing. So with all of our Inner Circle product has always been, for that was the $1,500 price point. And so what we found is we can easily sell something without ever getting on the phone under $2,000. As soon as it hits like a $2K plus price point, we then have to try to incorporate phone calls. But now we got to train a salesperson because I don't want to be taking those calls. Then, there's variances of them, God forbid, saying that, promising something that might not be there, and I have to deal with refunds. And so we just try to take as much friction out of it. And so the product is they don't have any access to us. In that 1,500, there's no community. A lot of people are like, I got to have a Facebook group, got to let them people, talk to each other. That's great, but guess what? When 1,500, 1,000 people, 300 people are asking questions in there, you have to sit there all day and answer their questions, otherwise people get mad. And so we removed, I saw everyone else offering communities. I was like, I'm not offering a community like my time's worth, way more than you could ever pay me. And so we just sell basically digital platform where people have access to a whole lot of like open playbook of credit and business credit and credit tips and tricks. And so whenever we've done these launches, it's been scarcity based on time or scarcity based off price. We always increase price on next launches, and we scarcity base it off cap of number of people. And we're very open about that too. So we did a launch back in March of last year. It was capped at 30 people. That sold out in 10 minutes. And then we posted every single, Stripe payment on the story, so people are like, oh shit, like, I, need to get in. And so then we raised the price from 1,000 to 1,500. We post things throughout the year, like, Inner Circle only. Yeah, if you know, you know. People are like, how can I get in? Hey, we have this opportunity. We haven't opened it in 8-9 months. If we want to get on the wait list for this time, it was wait list only. We didn't post anything on social, so you could only even have the opportunity to get in if you were even on the wait list to begin with. So we use scarcity based off once spot sell out, which for us was 100. 100 spot sell out, gone. You're not going to be able to get back in. Price is going up. Next time it opens, because you've been following us, that once we close it, we close it. This isn't a soft close like we just accept more. It's closed. And if you're not on the wait list, tough luck. So we just try to remove as much barriers as possible. I don't want to get on the phone and sell a product. I want to have, cash on demand, easy deliverable, without having my time included, which is really like a community, without people paying for it.
What's your customer avatar?
So we have multiple client avatars. Depends. Like we have two. We have the consumer, the day-to-day person, and then we have the business owner. So the day-to-day person, we have products. We help them fix their credit and build their credit. Show them how to get the best credit cards, how to leverage all those points to do cool things like travel for free. And then we have a business owner that's trying to get corporate credit, LLC creation, structure their business out, go after 0% business funding to build and scale their business. And so we just create content and products around both of those types of people.
So simply, like, we have a business avatar, so we'll create business-related credit content, and we have a consumer that will create personal credit content on. So really, it's just about, is the content that we're making in an effort to gain the attention of the person that's probably going to buy the thing. So if we have a business service that we offer, then creating business-related content is going to ideally attract that person. Now, it's a little bit of a loose definition than what you may be familiar with a client avatar, which is normally like age, demographic, where they live, what toilet paper they use, like all of those like really nitty-gritty details. This isn't supposed to be like a digital marketing presentation, so like that's why we're kind of being more like fast and loose about it, which is more about like what your content avatar is. Yeah. But does that answer your question, or did you need Okay, nice. Anybody else have questions or anything? All right.